This is Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related, and today we're going to be talking about some PlayStation Now news. This marks the first time I cover PlayStation Now news, and it won't be the last, so be sure to stay tuned to the channel for more PS Now news as it comes out. But now let's get to the topic at hand. We're going to be taking a look at the October releases for PlayStation Now. It's looking like a pretty solid lineup this month, and we're going to be starting with the marquee title, Days Gone. This open world action adventure game is set in a harsh open world environment where you're going to have to fight to survive. It's been 2 years after a devastating global pandemic hit, and now there are zombies roaming around. To survive, expect to search through abandoned vehicles, houses, truck stops, and towns as you scavenge for more and more resources. The game also features a dynamic weather system and day and night cycles that do affect gameplay because it affects the zombies' behavior. And speaking of zombies, this game has tons of them. There are moments that look like they're straight out of World War Z. And those zombies aren't just humans either, expect to run into zombie bears and much more. On a more personal note, I'm pretty excited to see this game being brought to PlayStation Now, considering it's one of the few PlayStation exclusives I didn't play yet. It's also worth noting that this game will only be available on the service until January 5th, 2021. That gives you about 3 months to beat this game. Next, let's move on to the second title confirmed coming for the month of October, and this one definitely fits the Halloween setting because it's MediEvil. This is a remaster of a PlayStation 1 classic whose visuals have been brought up to standard for this generation. You'll be hacking and slashing through enemies while also solving some puzzles. Now, I should note here that MediEvil, while it is a remaster of the original title, it stays very true to the original source when we talk gameplay. And this could be a good or a bad thing depending on what you expect out of a remaster, but do note the good and the bad from the original is pretty much still prevalent here. Either way, I still highly recommend you check out this title, whether you were a fan of the original or not. It's still a pretty fun game in my eyes, and it looks great. And keeping with that Halloween theme, the next title being added this month is Friday the 13th. This is a multiplayer game very much akin to something like Dead by Daylight. One player controls Jason, the rest are survivors trying to escape or finish him off. Whichever plan you decide to take is ultimately up to you, and whether you want to work with other players or not is your choice to make. When playing as Jason, you're gonna have a set of abilities to help you track down and hunt those survivors. And as the night progresses, Jason will only get stronger and stronger. But let's say you're a survivor, what can you do? Well, in this case, it's all about risk and reward. You'll have multiple options to choose from on how to win over Jason. Will you choose to fix a boat and escape with a friend? Will you choose to work all together to take Jason down? Or will you choose to survive on your own and get through the night? But no matter which path you end up taking, be assured that there will be consequences. The next title we're going to take a look at is Trine 4: The Nightmare Prince. This beautiful looking fantasy themed 2.5D puzzle platformer is all about teamwork. You'll be playing as 3 heroes who have to persuade a prince whose nightmares are slowly becoming a very monstrous reality. To achieve this, you're gonna have to be switching back and forth between each hero to actually use their abilities to the fullest potential. It should also be noted that you can play this game both offline and online in co-op. That way, each player is in charge of a specific characters, and then you have to communicate together to get through some puzzles. As a side note, I actually really like this franchise, and it's really fun to play in couch co-op if you can. It probably is more difficult that way, especially when you have to communicate and cooperate with others, but it's a very fun experience to do so. But now let's move on to the last title being added for the month of October, and that's none other than RAD. This 3D action roguelike is set in a post-apocalyptic world. Humanity has not just faced Armageddon once, but twice. As for who you get to play as, well, you're playing as a teenager this time around in an ever-changing radioactive wasteland known as the Fallow. The further and further you go into the Fallow, the more and more unspeakable creatures you're going to have to face. Not to mention, the deeper you go, the more toxins you're going to expose to yourself. These toxins are very powerful and will affect the form of your character. It's your job to save humanity with these newfound abilities, but you'll be coming out of this much less human than you came into it. I have to say, RAD looks like a pretty fun game. I've yet to play it yet, but the overall design seems really neat and well fitted for a roguelike title. Either way, that summarizes all the games coming to PlayStation Now for the month of October. Do let me know your thoughts on the selection. Are you happy with them? Are you unhappy? And what would you like to see for next month? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Now, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out. And if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Today's end of video message is just going to be a quick clarification. I will be covering PlayStation Now news as it comes. As I mentioned before, I will begin covering other cloud gaming services on the channel, but don't worry, if you're here for the Stadia content, it'll still be getting made. As for any of you who are new here, welcome to the channel and expect more coverage on PlayStation Now and its games. Do let me know if you have any feedback or suggestions on how to improve the videos further. I would appreciate it. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related. The Gen S community is over 4,900 strong and growing by the day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.